Okay, on the warm-up, I asked you to put the equations into standard form. First off, what is standard form? What does it look like? A squared, whoa, that would not, hold on. AX squared, there we go. AX squared plus BX plus C equals 0. This is the quadratic standard formula, okay? When we're trying to move everything over so that it's all on the same side of the equation, you want to make sure that your x squareds are positive. It's easier that way. All right, so the first one, let me write that. Let's see, 3x squared. 3x squared equals what I put, 2x plus 4. Okay, my 3x squared is positive right now. So what I'm going to do is I need to get the 2x over there and the 4x over there. The biggest mistake is you guys just write it over there and put like 3x squared plus 2x plus 4 equals 0. You can't do that. You can't just put it all together. To move it to the other side, okay, so that's a big no-no. To move it to the other side, we need to subtract 2x from each side. I get 3x squared minus 2x equals, these cancel, 4. Then you have to move your 4 over. So you have to subtract 4 from each side. And you get 3x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. This right here is in standard form. Now to label A, B, and C, A is the number in front of x squared. So A is 3. B is the number in front of x. That's negative 2. C is the number by itself, negative 4. And that's all I asked you to do on this one. On the next one, what do I have? I have 4x squared minus 6. 4x squared minus 6 equals negative 3x. There we go. Negative 3x. Okay. Now, the x squared is positive. The 6 is fine. It's on the same side with it. The only thing that's not is the minus 3x. So to move it to the other side, you do the opposite, and we will add 3x to each side. And I get 4x squared plus 3x minus 6 equals 0. A is the number in front of x squared. A is 4. B is the number in front of x, which is 3. C is the number by itself, minus 6. Next week, we'll be doing more with this. But this is just trying to get used to the first step. Now, hello, there we are. All right, I'll move it. Let me write the problem right here. X squared plus 23x equals 24. All right, and there are your answer choices. Right now, it's said to solve by factoring. Okay, so take a minute and I want you to solve by factoring. But what do you have to do first before we can factor? You have to move it around so it's in standard form. So let me start us off here with that, just like we've been doing. I'm going to subtract 24 from each side. And I get x squared plus 23x minus 24 equals 0. Now, factor this and find your roots. So in this case, first off, you have to remember how to factor. X squared goes up here, negative 24 here. There's a 1 in front of that x squared. 1 times negative 24 is negative 24. I need the factors of negative 24 that give me 23. That's 24 and negative 1. So I'm going to put 24x and negative 1x. Well, x squared splits up as x and x. X times what is 24x? Plus 24. X times what is negative 1x? Negative 1. Let me extend my page here. My factors are x minus 1 times x plus 24 equals 0. To find the solutions, to find, what did it ask us for? It is just to solve by factoring. To solve it, to do this by hand, we're going to take x minus 1 and set it equal to 0. X plus 24, set it equal to 0. Add 1 to each side. X equals 1. Actually, you just found the answer because I don't think they have negative 24 up there. X equals negative 24. Those are your two solutions. Out of those two up here, well, actually it has both of them, doesn't it? Negative 24 and positive 1. Oh, well, why did I put a negative there? What's going on? It actually has both of them right here. So negative 24 and positive 1. Both of those roots are there. And what are roots? That's the other thing we need to remember. What is it that we're finding? Well, let's see. Let's go back to the calculator and do it. If I go in the calculator and go into y1 and put in there x squared plus 23x minus 24. Okay? When I press graph, what we're looking for is the solutions are where they cross the x-axis. See right here, I see the positive 1. And in the table, how do you know that's what your answer is? It'll say what? 1, 0. And it does right here. Now, the only reason we don't see the negative 20 is because we're not zoomed out far enough. So my solutions are the two spots where it crosses the x-axis, and you can look in the table to find them if there are those whole numbers where y is 0. Okay, right now, let's do the next one. Solve by factoring. So let me rewrite that so I can move down the answer choices. 2x squared equals 2x plus 12. What do you have to do first? Not GCF yet. You have to put it in standard form. So I have to move everything over first. So I'll subtract 2x from each side. I get 2x squared minus 2x equals 12. Move the 12 over, so I'll subtract 12 from each side. I'm going to get 2x squared minus 2x minus 12 equals 0. Now we're going to factor this. Now I heard somebody say it now. What do we have to do next? Pull out the GCF. What is the GCF? 2. So I'm going to pull the 2 out, and I need to write what's left. So that means I divide everything by 2. I get x squared minus x minus 6. This is what we're factoring now. So go ahead and try and do that and then set them equal to 0. So from here, when I'm trying to factor it, the 2 does stay in front of it. And I'm going to do this without the box. I'm going to go through the process. The x squared I know splits up as x and x. I need the factors of negative 6 that add up together to give me negative 1. That's going to be negative 3 and 2. So it's going to be x minus 3 and x plus 2. Again, you guys need to make sure you know how to factor and going back over the other unit if you don't. So to find the solutions, I take x minus, nice minus, here we go, minus 3 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. You must solve for 0. You add 3 to each side. X equals 3. Okay, well, that has a 3. That says negative 3. It's not this one. Negative 3, not this one. That one says a 3. This one I subtract 2 from each side. X equals negative 2. Now, I also can go in the calculator to double check and make sure I did it right. Because on the test, if it says solve by factoring, I have to see all of this. But you need to make sure that you have your roots right. And the way you'll do that is put the original problem. Let's say I'll put it in there. 2x squared. Obviously, it's after it's solved for 0. Minus 2x minus 12. And press graph. Oh, I need to zoom back out. Or zoom back in, I mean. Makes it easier. Right here, it looks like it's -2 and it looks like it's +3. If I go second graph, I can look, it is 3, 0. And as I go up here, it is -2, 0. So that means I got that correct. Let's see. We'll go back to some of these. All right. Right here. I want you to write down and tell me what are the solutions. What are the roots? You should be able to look at this graph right now and just write it down quickly and then show me your boards, please. Make sure you write them big because I'm a blind old woman. How did you write it? Let me see. Write them as ordered, like as an ordered pair because they're an intercept. Drew? Oh, good. Oh, you wrote it on paper. Okay. All right. What you're looking for is where they cross the x-axis. So it's right here. I've got -2, 0 and 4, 0. Those are your solutions. Now, another way, one of the test questions could say maybe that you just said that there's one positive solution and one negative solution, right? Because one of them is positive, one of them is negative. All right, here's the next one. Find the next one. Okay, they look good. I'm looking right here at -8, 0 and 1, 0. What another way that they could have this answer choice is that you have one positive and one negative solution. Here's the next one. How many solutions are there? There's only one. Okay? And on this one, it crosses right here. That is at 2, 0. Okay? So all it is, remember, anything on the x-axis has a y number of 0. So it's 2, 0 right there. And there's only one solution. Or one positive solution. Here's the next one. What's this one? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to read it. It was sideways. Or, I mean, down. Nope, not that. Think about it. What are solutions? Uh-huh. Mm-mm. All right, let me ask you a question. Solutions are supposed to cross the what? X-axis. That's right here. Does it touch it? No. So what your answer is no real, be careful, real solutions. Okay? And yes, there are imaginary numbers. Okay? Well, you'll talk about that in Algebra 2. All right, what if we see this? We see a table. Write down your solutions. Tell me how many there are and write them down. Yes, Tony. Oh, yeah, I just can't. I'm telling you, I'm blind. How many solutions are there? There are 2. Are they positives or negatives? They are 2 positive solutions. Here's one, and here's one. It's where the y numbers are 0. So we have 4, 0, and 6, 0. Sometimes, you know, I like us writing them as ordered pairs. Sometimes you'll just have them see x is 4 and x equals 6. They'll write them like that. They won't write them as ordered pairs. So just be prepared for that. Okay, here's the next one. Try and answer this one. Let me give some of you a hint. It's already in factored form. So if it's already in factored form, take each parentheses and set it equal to 0. Now solve for x. So what we're supposed to be doing right here on the first one, you will add 7 to each side. You get 3x equals 7. We'll divide by 3. X equals 7/3. That's one of your solutions. The second one, I will add 1 to each side. I get 2x equals 1. I'm going to divide by 2. X equals 1/2. So I have 2 solutions. They're 2 positive solutions. There's the next one. Answer this one. In this case, you don't do anything with this GCF because it's just a 6. Don't worry about it. The only thing you do is take what is inside the parentheses right now and set them equal to 0. So you add 9 to each side for the first one, and x equals 9. That's one of your solutions. The second one, I'll subtract 4 from each side. 3x equals -4. I'm going to divide by 3. X equals -4/3. So in this case, I have 2 solutions. One is positive, one is negative. Let's go back. See, I didn't know how much time. Oop. Hello, where'd my pen go? There we go. This one said, what method works best on finding the zeros of the function? What it's saying is on this one, look at the way it's set up. If I said you could solve and find your zeros, find your solutions, any of these 3 ways, which would you do? Graphing or table, you didn't want to factor? Actually, in this case, you can't factor because there's a plus inside right here. But yeah, I would go in my calculator and I would either look at my table or I would look at the graph on it. But when it says graphing, it means that you would actually just take this and graph it by hand. I don't think anybody wants to graph that, do you? The easiest thing would be, but I think what you meant by graphing was you would put this into the calculator, into Y1, and press graph and see where it crosses. But the easiest is to look into the table and try and find where the Y number is 0. Okay, let's see. It says using the graphing calculator, find the x-intercepts to the function. Can 6.8 be a possible solution? So right now I want you to go in the calculator, and what you need to do is go and put this right here into y1. And then I want you to look and see and press graph and look and see what the possible solutions are. Let me move. Oh, come on there. No. All right, doesn't like it with the board. All right, here we go. Okay, so go into y equals. Put in there negative 16 x squared plus 1600. Now I'm going to press graph, and let's look and see where it crosses. Holy moly, I don't see anything. Does anybody? What if I went second graph? Yours is saying you can't even see anything? Okay, well, let's look at something for a sec. Did you put right here? Let's see if I put that. If that'll give me. Is that what it's giving you? Okay, so go to y equals. Oh. That right there, you probably pressed on the side the minus button, and it needs to be the negative. So right now, though, when I see this, I don't see anything in here because it says, can 6.8 be a possible solution? If I go over here to positive 6.8, is it crossing between 6 and 7? No. So this cannot be a possible solution. If I zoom out, I wonder if I'll see it yet. Okay, I do see it. It's somewhere in there. But when I go to look at, it's at negative 10. All right, so negative 10, and then I bet it's probably positive 10, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So is 6.8 a solution? No, it can't be. It's not crossing there. Okay, here's the, I think, which one do I want? Oh, we'll skip those two. Let's go back down here. I want you to solve these four. First, I want you to factor. And then I want you to find the solutions by factoring. Okay, let's do that now. Let's look at the first one. 2x squared minus 5x. Let's see. 2x squared minus 5x equals 88, right? Okay. First thing you're supposed to do is set it equal to 0. Subtract 88 from each side. You should have 2x squared minus 5x minus 88 equals 0. Now, step one is there a GCF? Is there a number? Now, 2 doesn't go into 5, so there is nothing there. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to draw my box. I'm going to put 2x squared up here, negative 88 in the bottom right. Now, I'm going to take 2 times negative 88. Well, gee. Let me go up here. Second quit. 2 times negative 88. And I get negative 176. So I'm going to go in the calculator and put negative 176 divided by x. Okay, you multiply those two numbers and put it in there. Now, second graph. I need the factors that add up together to give me negative 5. Well, those two right there, I just happen to be on 8. What is that? That's negative 14. There we go. I just happen to be up high enough. It's 11 and negative 16. So I've got 11x and negative 16x. Yeah, it's got to be a negative 5. Now, the problem is 2x squared splits up as 2x and x, and it matters where you put that. Out of these two boxes, what's the GCF? Does 2 go into both of them? No. So the x goes here. Well, out of these two boxes, does 2 go into both of those numbers? Yes, that's why the 2x goes here. X times what is 11x? Plus 11. 2 times what is negative 16? Negative 8. So my factors are x minus 8 times 2x plus 11. To find my zeros, meaning where do they cross the x-axis, I will take x minus 8 and set it equal to 0. 2x plus 11 and set it equal to 0. So I add 8 to each side. One of my zeros is 8. The other one, I would subtract 11 from both sides. And I get 2x equals negative 11. Divide by 2. X equals negative, and you can just leave it as 11 over 2, or if you put negative 5.5, that's fine. Those are my answers. That's where they cross the x-axis. Number 2 shouldn't be that bad because it's x squared plus 7x plus 10 equals 0. It's already in standard form. We should have gone here, and I'll put x squared. I'll put x and x. I know it splits up like that. I need my factors of 10. You know, like 1 and 10, negative 1, negative 10, 2 and 5, negative 2, negative 5. What do they need to add up to be? 7. So it's 2 and 5. So I'll put plus 2 and plus 5. Now to find my zeros. I'll take x plus 2 and set it equal to 0. X plus 5, set it equal to 0. I will subtract 2 from each side. X equals negative 2. I will subtract 5 from each side. X equals negative 5. Those are your two zeros. That's how you solve by factoring. Let's see. Number 3 says 3x squared. 3x squared equals 10x minus 3. Before I can factor, I have to put it into standard form. So I have to subtract 10x from each side. I get 3x squared minus 10x equals negative 3. I need to add 3 to each side. I get 3x squared minus 10x plus 3 equals 0. This is now what you need to factor. Now I went ahead and drew my box, but I need to look first. Is there a GCF? Does 3 go into 10? No, so there isn't one. So I'm going to put 3x squared, and I'm going to put 3. Multiply these two numbers, and I get 9. I need the factors of 9 that give me negative 10. Negative 9 and negative 1. So I'm going to put negative 9, negative, whoa, that's not a 1. Try again. Negative 1. 3x squared splits up as 3x and x. Out of these two boxes, does 3 go into both numbers? Yes. So a 3x goes here. Well, does... oh, I forgot my x's. There we go. So then the x goes up here. Now, 3 times what is negative 9? Negative 3. X times what is negative 1? Negative 1. So my factors are 3x minus 1 times x minus 3 equals 0. Guys, these are my factors. These are not my zeros or my roots. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, you can. The question was, can I do GCFs up and down in each box to find your numbers? And yes, you can. So now to find your zeros, I take 3x minus 1, set it equal to 0. X minus 3 and set it equal to 0. Add 1 to each side. I get 3x equals 1. Divide by 3. X equals 1/3. That's one of your solutions, one of your zeros. That's where it crosses the x-axis. Then I add 3 to each side. X equals 3. That's the other one. Now you want to make sure that you've gone and done number 4. All right, number 4. Let's see here. We've got 4x squared. There it is, equals 6x minus 5. Oops, I hope I did it right. I'm trying to see. Oh, nope, it's 6 minus 5x. Well, golly, let's see. 6 minus 5x. Let's see if I finally got that right. Yep. Okay, now, again, it's got to be in standard form, and the 4x squared needs to be positive. So we're going to be moving over the 6 and the negative 5. But I have to subtract 6 from each side. I get 4x squared minus 6 equals negative 5. Remember, because that cancels out. Then I add 5 to each side. And I end up getting 4x squared. Oh, golly gee, I keep leaving the x off here. Let me slow down. There we go. I get 4x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so now to factor. We look and see, is there a GCF? Does 4 go into 5? No. No, 2 goes into 4. Does 2 go into 5? Nope, there's no GCF. So I'll go straight to the box. And I will put 4x squared in the upper left, minus 6 in the bottom right, something x, something x. We're going to multiply 4 times negative 6 and get negative 24. I need the factors of negative 24 that equal positive 5. That's going to be 8 and negative 3. So we're going to put 8x and negative 3x. Now, out of these two boxes, does 4 go into 8? Does 4 go into 4? Yes. 4 go into 8? Yes. So that means the 4x comes here. Out of these two boxes, the GCF is just an x. So now 4 times what is 8? Plus 2. X times what is negative 3x? Negative 3. So my factors are 4x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. That's my factors. Now to find my zeros, I'm going to take 4x minus 3 and set it equal to 0. X plus 2 and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to add 3 to each side. I get 4x equals 3. Divide by 4. X equals 3/4. Subtract 2 from each side. X equals negative 2. These are your x-intercepts. We call them roots. We call them zeros. That's just where they cross the x-axis. Let's go back a sec, because I think I skipped, I don't know why I skipped those two other than if it was just time. Let's see. Let's go back here and have a couple more practice ones if I can ever get back there. Well, gee, come on. There we go. Let's start with this one. It says solve 36x squared equals 18x. Okay. It says solve by factoring. All right, on this one, what I'm going to do, first off, it has to still be in standard form. So I'm going to subtract 18x from each side. I get 36x squared minus 18x equals 0. Well, before we begin, we've got to find the GCF. Well, the GCF, what goes into 36 and 18? If you don't know, I'll remind you in the calculator. We can go into our home screen, press math, arrow over to number, and press 9. It says GCD, same as GCF. 36, comma 18. Do not do the negatives. Do not do the x's, just the numbers. Press enter, and it gives me 18. So I know that 18 goes into both of them. But I also see I have an x squared and I have an x, so it's going to be 18x. So if I divide everything by 18x, what do I have left? Well, 36 divided by 18 is 2. And if I take out an x, I just have 2x. This right here is minus 1. You notice how there's no x squared now in the parentheses or anything? We've actually factored as far as it can go. So I'm going to take 18x, set it equal to 0, and 2x minus 1 and set it equal to 0. Right here, I divide by 18. X equals 0. Well, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, well, they all have 0 as an answer. The next one here, I'm going to add 1 to each side. I get 2x equals 1. Divide by 2. X equals 1/2. There's my roots right here. You could have also, after you went and solved it and put in standard form, I could go into the calculator, into y1, and put 36x squared minus 18x and press graph. Oh, you know what? I need to change my window settings because it's all whacked out here. So -10. And you could just do this by clearing your memory too, that as well. -10 and 10. Let's try it now. Well, look right here. I see that they cross, and it looks close right here, and it looks like there's not a negative, so I could have taken that out. It doesn't just cross at 0, so I could go second graph and go and look here. If I want to look at the table and eliminate some of my answer choices here, it's where the y numbers are 0. See, 0, 0, so I knew 0 had to be an answer. But the other one said 1, 0. That says 1, or it would be 1, 0, and this says 118. That's why this one can't be an answer. Just 0, still you don't know if that is it or not. And then I know that it's you'd have to go through and be able to factor to find the other one. Oh, I'm still going backwards. Crazy me. All right, here's the last one. Using the graphing calculator, find the x-intercepts of the equation. And it says x squared equals 5x minus 2, which is an approximate solution. Approximate, so that means it's not going to be exact. So first thing we're going to do, before we can put it in the calculator, we've got to go and put it into standard form. So I'm going to subtract 5x from each side. I get x squared minus 5x equals -2. I'm going to add 2 to each side. We get x squared minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, so it wants us to use the calculator, so we'll go to y equals, put in there x squared minus 5x plus 2. Now let's press graph. Well, if I look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one is in between 4 and 5. All of these right here are between 0 and 1. Well, golly. Okay, let's see. These are all still really close. So why don't we do this? Here's one way to do it. Let's go second window. Let's type in this number for x. Let's type in 0.44. Second graph. That's close to 0, but it's not 0. Let's try and see if we can get another one. Second window, type in where it says table start, go 0.41, second graph. That's 0.11. That was even farther away than 0.44, right? Because that's farther away, so I know this one's not it because 0.44 is closer. Second window, 0.46, second graph. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's go back to the window. Let's try 0.4. Second graph. Well, darn. Okay, let's see. That one says 0.1. Both of the other ones said 0.0. So this one can't be it. They're not making this very friendly for us, are they? So let's try this again. Let's go to 0.46. Second window, 0.46. Second graph. That says 0.0884. All right, so let me try and do this. This is, so y would be 0.0884. I think that's what I wrote. Am I seeing it right? Yep. Okay. So that'd be that one. Let's try 0.44. 0.44. Second graph. That is not a very nice one. Negative 0.00. Okay, so let's see. Negative 0.0064. Which one is closer to 0? This one would be because it's 0.00. So your answer would be A. Ooh, that's just not a very friendly one. Let's see if we got all these now on this paper. Yeah, I think we did do all of them. All right, we'll continue on and with the questions to go on to the next video in order to help you continue to solve by graphing. And solve by factoring.